All right, friends. Well, today I'm actually getting ready to go in for some epidural steroidal shots down in my lower back. I've been having so many problems with my legs, it's like ridiculous. So I'm hoping and praying that this helps because I've got so much to do on my plate. And when you're constantly in throbbing pain in your legs, it makes it much harder. I'll talk to you when I get out. See you in a few minutes. Well, see you in a few seconds, actually. So. All right, friends and family. Well, it's about 7 hours later after my epidural steroid shots. And the surgeon did one on either side of L4. And that's supposed to help with the constant pain and numbness in my legs. And I kind of think I feel it already, like going to work. I've had tons of cortisone shots over the years, but this definitely was one of the strongest shots I've gotten. He gave me a little extra medicine, and this specific surgeon or doctor is a family friend, and I can't speak highly enough about him. He's amazing. It's just hard to get in to see him, but he did me a real big solid on this one, really helped me out, and got me in pretty quickly. And if you're ever in the Pottstown, Pennsylvania area, I want you to look him up because he's a guy I trust, and he's definitely someone who I would strongly encourage anyone else to see. His name, actually, I'll put it right here. His name's William Cano, and Pottstown, Pennsylvania. He did the epidural shots, and he's so good at what he does. I hardly felt it. I hardly felt the needles go in, and within 5 minutes I was done, and I'd say about an hour later I kind of started feeling I'd say a little bit of numbness in my back and legs in a good way, meaning like, covering up some of my pain. And I'm hoping to get some relief from this because I sure need it right now. I've got so much going on and so much to do, so many big, huge things to work on right now that I need this. So, and then to get deeper into where I am now, I'm 3 years post spinal fusion. This past June was 3 years, the 3-year point. And unfortunately for me, I know that I'd be in a very different place if it weren't for two things. Number one, just a few months after my spinal fusion, my now ex-wife of 3 years took off on us, and I had to do all the things my surgeon told me not to do. I had to bend, lift, twist. I had to move boxes. I had to pick things up that were heavy. I had to move furniture. I had to do all the things that I specifically was supposed to not do for 10 to 12 months. But so it is. C'est la vie. And it's hard because, 2-3 months after my spinal fusion, I was starting to really feel a lot of improvements to the point where I was walking every day and I wasn't feeling the exhaustion and the fatigue that I had felt for so long. I was walking and I felt fairly good. But then, month 4, she bounced, and me and my sons had to do everything on our own. And that really, really pushed my progress backwards a lot. And then the second factor is, many of you know, I was in a car accident in December of 2022. Well, that car accident just rocked my whole spine. An old guy pulled his car out right in front of me, made an illegal left-hand turn. Maybe he realized he wasn't supposed to be doing that, stopped in the middle of the road. I was going 45 and just nailed him. Had enough time to kind of turn the wheel a little bit, but then I slid off of him, and then I slammed into the guardrail. So I hit him and then slammed into the guardrail. And that jolted the piss out of my back, and I've never had as much issues as I have since that in my neck and my shoulder and my right arm and down my legs. It's just, it was hard for a while to go backwards that much. I'm still having trouble with it, because the pain has increased so much more since that car accident, which has been a struggle. And so I can do less, I can be on my feet less. I just get much less out of my back, my legs, and my body in general, which has been tough. So, but for a lot of people that go into a spinal fusion, I really want to encourage you and say that a spinal fusion should be the absolute ultimate last resort. Cutting the spine open should be your last resort. You should have tried everything under the sun. Massage therapy, chiropractic therapy, acupuncture, stretching, PT, a new workout regime, even go to an anti-inflammatory diet, switch over to carnivore, do a diet that decreases inflammation. I can't stress that enough. You know, these doctors and surgeons in today's modern medical practice, they push and push and push fusions. And even a disc replacement, in my opinion, should be a better option than a fusion. Fusions don't work. For the most part, they do that because they know they're going to get two more things out of you. Most likely, that other one is another fusion. There's so many people, I think, in the world that get fusions and don't need them or shouldn't have them. And they're told this is their only option. This is your last option. This is your last resort. Oh, you need this, you need this, you need this. I don't think that most people do. I really don't. I did. Meaning, I went 10 years trying to change everything about my life before getting to the point where I needed a fusion. And see, for me, it was because, as you'll see in the scan here, two of my vertebrae had collapsed on each other. I had no disc left, but they were chipping off the corners of bone and sandwiching the bone chips together, and it was constant, non-stop, just horrific pain all the time. And it would never go away because the chips of bone in there were embedded between my vertebrae. So I needed him to go in there, cut that open, clean it out, and then apparently they told me the only option was a fusion rather than a disc replacement. And I don't understand that. But at the same time, my surgeon came highly recommended. He's a very reputable surgeon. And I do still to this day feel like I made the right decision in who I went with for my surgery. I went with a doctor named Paul Marcotte in Philadelphia at University Penn Hospital. And I still to this day believe that, you know, he was absolutely the best option for me. And unfortunately, that was my last resort. I was someone who needed it at that time. But, and here's a big but, and I mean a pretty big but. 10 years prior to that, I was told I needed a fusion. Like when I first injured my back, there were doctors and surgeons telling me that I needed a fusion. And then that was, this is your last resort, this is your last option, you need to have a fusion now. And then I got 10 years out of life and living life to, pretty high degree. Started my companies, had all my kids, ran all my companies, became an arborist, climber. I worked labor almost every day, I still did my coaching, I was still bodybuilding. I played with my kids, I still did my fighting, and all of these different things that I got out of my body for the next 10 years. Maybe I shouldn't have, but at the same time, I enjoyed life, I lived life. And I did what I had to do for my family, and then I got to the point where the fusion was what I had left. But now here we are 3 years later, and my legs are just pissing me off, really. They're constantly in pain. Can't train legs. I can train upper body, but I can't be on my feet for too long. So it's such a balancing act, guys. It's definitely not an easy decision. Okay, but before you ever consider spinal fusion, I want you to ask yourself, have I done everything else possible? And if you say yes, and then the fusion's all you have left, and then go forward in faith and with the right team and the right people working on you, that's your best option. All right, friends, so that is my 3-year update on my spinal fusion. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section. And just a shout out again to a lot of our viewers who have been reaching out to me so many times with DMs, emails, and a lot of concern and care. I'm so grateful for all of you. And we have so many big things going on that we're so excited. But I want to thank you all so much for your support, for your love, for your financial donations, for the super thanks, for all the things you guys have been doing to help our work and to move forward with our kratom advocacy. So thanks again for watching. I'm Coach Hargains. This is Healing Together. I'll catch you in the next video.
Let's